Welcome to the Human Design Ray Festival 2025.
When we were discussing it with the others, where it would best fit this topic of the danger of human design. And well, we all felt in a way that it's actually a good topic right at the beginning, because it can show us right in the beginning the pitfalls that can even in something like this can happen. How human design, how all these interesting topics and themes and teachings can not only serve us so we can use it as additional awareness tools to then have more possibilities to watch in our daily lives, how any of these things, we can recognize them and they can be helpful in our process to be more connected with who we are. But at the same time, in my own experience over all these years of teaching human design, and now seeing so much going on Facebook mostly, and so many new people offering the most amazing promises. And you know what human design, if you sign up with them, how they can teach you and how that can transform your world. How easy it is to actually use the system, like any system can be used to fortify exactly those barriers that would need to be shattered. And I like for this to show the first image that kind of like I found. It's an old one and most of you have seen it, from Ra. I mean, it's a very simple quote, but it says it all. The more intelligent you are, which is always a problem in human design. I like that. It is always a problem in human design. The easier it is to rationalize and protect and defend those very barriers that need to be shattered. And this is basically what I have noticed happening a lot in all these years of teaching human design and being exposed to other people teaching it and how it's being used, that that the same mind that has created actually those fake, not self-survival strategies that actually, you know, they are being taught in the Living Your Design, which is the very basic course that I feel like has not really gotten enough value given to it than what it really needs, because for me it is the most important course, the Living Your Design. And it could easily take more time, because it is introducing and creating the foundation for what the human design really is about. And what I noticed is that particularly this aspect of the open centers with those not self-survival strategies, I mean, are being kind of like run through and like everything else. And so that everybody can quickly start studying and acquiring knowledge and then doing something with this knowledge. And for me, the really only really important thing about human design, and that is the basis, is that it offers us these two aspects in us. It shows us who we really are, and it shows us who we got conditioned to be, who we are deeply identified with, and it shows us a way how we can transfer the authority back to who we really are. Now, this conditioned part, for me, of course, was a very interesting one, because I have 9 open centers as a reflector. So that was quite something when I found out that all of who I think I was, I am not. and how deeply attached I was to what any of those open centers continuously pushing me to be, to do, to explain, to say, to whatever. And so for me, this was maybe one of the most important pieces I got in the beginning, how I can begin to watch when any of these fake survivals, not self-survival strategies would kick in, when any of those open centers would all of a sudden make me say something or do something or stop. And so I really investigated those 9 open centers deeply, deeply, deeply. And I realized the power of this not self. And it's not just the individual centers, it's an entire construct that has been created based on our survival in those first 7 years of our life. It's solid. And in those first 7 years of our life, the mind, of course, also developed. And it's the mind that basically developed the survival strategies to make sure that we use our energy only in such a way that this not self construct is being protected. So I nicknamed this construct, this is our personal high security prison. And I nicknamed the mind is the prison director. And the prison director, if the prison director is particularly intelligent and also a little bit more liberal, it wouldn't, that director would not have a problem with anybody wanting to learn human design. It's kind of like, how long does it take to learn human design, to become a kind of an analyst or a teacher? And then it says, okay, no problem. Those 3, 4, 5 years that it takes, and then I start working with it, I can relax, because then they will not think about breaking out. Because the worst for a prison director is when the inmates are starting a revolution and decide they want to break out. So, this is basically what I've been noticing in a way, in a lot what is happening in human design, that the knowledge is being used to decorate our prison cells. I call it like that. Yeah. And that then, then the director up there can relax, because it is now has an additional tool, an additional possibility to make sure that this person is staying in. I don't know if any of what I've said so far makes sense to any of you. It makes a lot of sense to me. And so, and there are many, many examples where it's noticeable. And I also noticed that sometimes those people who, because of whatever their expertise is from what they learned in their life, who know best how to use all this new technology and like to study, like to learn, they are often, but they're not connected. It hasn't really served them in a way that they could be transformed into who they really are. And often these people are more successful than maybe somebody who actually doesn't even know that much, but has actually really stayed with the one thing that helped them to come back to who they really are and how they can live their life out from their own inner authority, and not from a polished new mental system that is guiding them.